Hey guys, it's Landon with A1 Comics, and I have something really special in store for you today. We're going to take an up-close and intimate look at a Golden Age super key, one of the books that played a role in starting it all. I don't want to give anything away, so without any further ado, I'd like to introduce my dad, Brian Peets, the founder of A1 Comics, who's going to take us for a really fun little ride.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at a copy of Detective 29. This is out of my personal collection. It came with a small group of books, of which the 31 and The Amazing Man #5, which is actually Amazing Man #1 and a pretty scarce book, but they were the three best books out of the collection. Like I said, it wasn't very large. I think it was actually only about 10 or 12 different books, but these three were by far the best. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out, take a look at it. We have decided to go ahead and send it off for some cleaning, pressing, and grading. And I've had this probably at least 15 years, maybe slightly longer than that. Hopefully not 20. Time goes by way too fast. Books from this time period, which is early Golden Age, this is late 1939, certainly the fall of 39. These books are huge compared to today's comics, and even large compared to most Golden Age comics. So I actually have it in a super gold bag and board, and then actually into a magazine Mylar. That's how large these books actually are. And then I always use an acid-free board. The bags that we get today are usually polypropylene or better. So right now this one is in a polypropylene bag and an acid-free board. Some reusable tape, which I will never use again. I pretty much never use tape anymore, but this was a long time ago that I put this one away, so it still had the tape. And I don't even use the polypropylene bags anymore. Once this, well, of course this one will come back graded. But if I was to keep it raw, I would use a Mylite, which is very similar to Mylar material in that it's totally acid-free and archival. That's what they use at the Library of Congress. And again, so there you can see the book. It's got absolutely beautiful colors. It is dirty, so one of the things that I'm hoping is that, particularly in the white and yellow background, they can remove all the dirt before they would even attempt to press it, and I think that will really make the logo stand out and pop. The colors are very, very good, the blues, the reds. It's a fairly flat cover. There's certainly no color breaking creases on it. There are slightly rounded corner down here at the bottom, both at the base of the spine and at this outer edge here. Same way at the top. The top of the spine actually looks pretty good. Definitely has some wear, but still a very square edge. And then the back cover. I've kind of forgotten what the back cover looks like. It's a little worse for wear, but again, mostly just dirty. So again, if we can get this cleaned up and pressed, I think it'll make a tremendous amount of difference in the look and certainly the grade too. So some of the things that I look at right off the bat when I'm grading a book, and I'm going to kind of do a bit of a pre-grade here, give you an idea of what I think the grade of this book is before we have any work done to it, is when I start looking at a book, pretty much the first thing I look at is I look at the spine. And what you want to look at there is just see how intact the spine is. Are there big creases or tears that go through it? We can see two little creases with very minor tearing here at the bottom staple, and then another one above it. There's a little bit of fraying most of the way up and down, but really overall you have a nice round spine. It's not flattened out. It's pretty smooth. It is dirty, so we're hoping that that can be removed. Got a little bit of a curve here. It's not perfectly flat, so would you say it has a spine roll? Very, very slight, and I don't know if that's something that they would try and take out with a pressing or not. Usually on a book of this age or vintage, I worry about pressing things because of brittleness or how long it's just been in that same position, so the paper has tremendous amount of memory. But I'll let the experts decide on that. The other thing that when you're looking at the spine, you want to look at the staples. So this book is a 2-staple book. Most Golden Age books are 2-staple books, but there are a lot of 1-staple books would have put it right in the center, particularly during World War II. Obviously this is a pre-war book, so you have a full 64 pages of story, get another 4 pages of inside front and back cover. So it's a big book, it's a thick book, and like I said, it's really good size. So staples look good. Overall the spine looks good. It does have some wear, a little more wear down here above the bottom staple. You can see some different things there. So, but overall I'd say particularly for the age, and we're looking at a book that's 81 years old now at this point. So it's looking pretty good. But so spine look good, staples look good. Next thing I look at is I just look at all the edges. Top, right hand side, bottom. If you just pull the cover up a little bit, all these edges look really good. There's a little bit of rounding up at the top, but I noticed earlier it's got a little bit of bent over there, right there. So again, with a good pressing, we might be able to turn that not into a perfectly fine point, but it's not going to look rounded anymore. Same way down here at the bottom, we're going to have very slight rounding, but with a press, everything will stand up. Something else you would notice opening the book this way is we have some pages here that are folded over right off the bat. Now, while this book appears to have creamed off-white pages, definitely a cream halo, no brittleness at all, I really wouldn't hesitate to flatten those out before you press the book so everything's laying nice and flat. So I think it should clean up extremely well. A little more wear along the bottom of the book here, along that edge. And again, if you pull the cover up, it really looks good. And then if you're looking at it that way and you can see the inside of the back cover, that's basically a white back cover. A little bit of halo at the bottom and even a lesser halo at the top. That's really, really clean. That last page looks good too. And then something here looking down into the spine and the staples, nice and smooth. The wraps look good. There's no fraying. Firmly attached to the staples, so I think it's looking good there. If you open up the front cover, not quite as white, although it is still very, very white. It is a little bit dirty on the inside of the front cover where it was not on the back cover, so another area that would need to be cleaned. If you can see right here at this top outer edge, you can see where it is bent over. So again, with the person knowing what they're doing and pressing the book, it's going to turn out pretty darn good. Now, one thing you'll notice when I'm handling an older book like this, or if you're handling an older book like this, you really want to support the cover. You don't want to just lay it down on the counter and let it plop over. These staples look really, really good. They look really tight, but this is old paper. Like I said, it's pretty much 81 years old. You don't want to just let it flop over. It could pop off that staple, and that would really hurt the book. So generally what I do with something like this, I got the Overstreet price guide here, the big boy version. I will set it in something like that so that I can open it, let it open up some, and you get a really good idea of the page quality and everything. These pages are nice and supple, albeit definitely a little bit towards the cream side. Definitely off-white in the centers, but you have a cream halo all the way around. I counted the pages on this book a long time ago, as well as the gentleman that sold it to me, so we're assured that it has all the pages, including the centerfold. Like I said, they're very supple. Do have the cream halo once again. Got a little nick out of one here, just a very tiny chip. Really not going to affect the grade on something like that. So, and the other thing you'll notice with a book like this, so here's a story that looks kind of like a comic story. It's got all the colors and stuff. And you keep going, and then here's one that's got one color. It's got red, very shades of red. And you'll see that in some of the early DC books. They just use a two-tone book. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue. That's right, a real clue as to the age is when you get a book like that. So one of the things I'm doing right now is I'm looking for the staples, and this could take me a minute. In fact, I'm going to turn it around this way so I don't try and do everything upside down. But I want to find the centerfold. I know it's there. I know it's correct. But then one of the other things you can check, and so here I found it, and again on an early DC book, something like this, what you get a lot of times, you'll get basically a prose story. So a lot of entertainment in these books. You've got a few ads here for fireworks. What kid doesn't want comics and the fireworks and maybe a squirt gun? The staple legs look great. They look brand new. They're very tight. It's easy to see that they are in good shape, and it's also easy to see that they've never been messed with. So this, not like we had a book that had the centerfold loose and then it was reattached somehow. So this is an original condition Detective 29. This is the way it laid for a lot of years before it was sold and then resold again. I know I'm at least the third owner, and I believe the gentleman that had this originally was the original owner. He didn't trade for it. He bought it off the stands. He had it for years and years and years until he sold it to someone that I ended up buying the book from. So I'm pretty sure that I'm the third owner on this book. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. It'll be interesting to see what the page quality comes back. I would hope for cream to off-white at the very least. But like I said, I don't like the cream designation, but there's absolutely no brittleness. It's just age, you know. So that's what you have right here. I would actually say that in this grade, it's definitely just a 4. It's just too dirty to be anything else but a 4. But I think the upside on this is very high. I think with a great cleaning and a pressing, I'm hoping we hit at least a 6 with something like this. This is actually the second Batman cover, even though it's the third Batman issue, meaning Detective Comics 28 did not have a Batman cover. So that's what you have here. And we'll send it off. We'll let them do their magic, and we'll find out what we're going to get, and we'll share it off with everybody at that time. So thanks for tuning in.
All right, well that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Please stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more content just like this. We have some planned coming up in the next couple months. Even bigger books, if you can believe it, and it'll be coming straight to you on the A1 Comics YouTube channel. So thanks again and take care.